Hey, welcome back to the Positive Side Podcast. Glad you're tuning in. The host, Jeremy Todd, coming to you live from the world headquarters. Jacked up, fired up like always. Today we're going to have Hamza Abulfeth on here in just a second. But I got to, first of all, thank everybody that got on to besthalfyear.com. If you missed the actual recording itself, you can shoot me an email and I'll shoot you the actual video. And again, there's so much to take away in there. Shoot me those emails, jeremy@jeremytodd.com. You'll be glad you did. My client, Hamza is the autodidact tech serial entrepreneur who started his first business early at age 17. But the cool thing about Hamza is that he's done all kinds of things. First of all, he dropped out of college at 21. He got ICANN accredited at 24. And I don't even know what that means, but he attended the World Economic Forum at 25, went to Harvard at 26, got married at 28, a kid at 29, fought cancer at 30, and now he's the author of the memoir, The Startup to Cancer Fighter. Hamza, I guess my first question for you, my friend, is how do you do it? I know there's a lot of people out there that says, I'm too busy, Hamza. I can't do that stuff. He's better than I am. He must be smarter than me. He's more organized than me. How do you get all these things done at a ripe young age? Are you 35 now?
Yeah, the 35, yeah.
Welcome to the show. How do you get these things done?
Well, it's pretty easy. You just do it. You just do it, and you just find the time and the focus and the energy to do everything. But it's one thing at a time. You cannot do multiple things at the same time. You just need to put your mind and spirit into one thing, accomplish it, then move to the next thing. So that's how it rolls.
Well, I don't have enough time in my day, Hamza. I mean, I'm busy. I'm a working parent. I've got kids. I've got all these things going on. Sure, it's easy for you to say
Aren't
that,
we
but how
all?
do I get this stuff done?
Aren't we all?
Well, that's a good
I
point.
do have kids now. I do have kids now. But fortunately for me, I have their mother, so she does help. She does help with the kids and stuff. But yeah, more seriously, I cannot tell you how I did exactly. On each each step, each fight. But it's a whole project by itself. I mean, each thing you want to accomplish is a whole project, and you really need to put everything in it, in order to succeed, in order to make it work, because else it will eventually, um, you know, you can do multiple things. You can just put just some of your time, in order to get something done. But unfortunately, if you don't put all your energy and you give your like maximum focus on each thing, it cannot be done. And if you don't do it yourself, nobody's gonna do it for you. That's the number one, golden rule.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. You nailed it earlier too. You said just do it, right? And we can come up with these excuses in our head. We can talk about it all day long. I mean, I'm too busy. I've got this. My left toe hurts. I mean, we can come up with a million excuses. We're the best salespeople for ourselves to get out of things because we know ourselves better than anything. Let me ask you a question. I'm a big schedule guy, and I talked about this besthalfyear.com thing. And one of the things we talk about in that is the schedule. And I'm always fascinated with people. Like, what time do you get up in the morning?
Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's Franklin. Uh, Quite early, 7 a.m. That's like the
Okay.
maximum. Yeah, that's 7 a.m. That's when I start. I need to drop off my kid at school at 8:30, so I need to go out from the house at around 8:10. It depends. I just drop her at school, and then I go to the office in a normal day. So we start at 9. I'm there at 8:30. That gives me 30 minutes heads up, to pretty much
Yeah.
do everything before everyone gets in, and then the day starts. But that's just like a normal uh, uh, office day. But when I'm into something else, well, I just completely forget about the office, and just I focus on this new thing. whatever that might be. I've recently bought a land, and I've been out of the office for almost a month. I've been there, just trying to make it work, and it does. It took lots of time, lots of energy, but in like a 10 days time, the land completely revamped. It's different now because I just had to put well, time, money, lots of it, and energy. And this is how I like to get the result quite fast. I like to see things come up, uh, and eventually when it's done in a like a timely fashion, in a very fast way, it just gives me more hope, and more energy, to just keep on going, uh, because you see and you know that what's gonna come is even more rewarding. That actually makes me think about my weight loss journey. Well, you can see that I got pretty much lots of weight since then, but I know that I lost something like 36 kilograms. That's 80 pounds in 1 year and a half. All right. And the more weight I was losing, the more hope it gave me, and the more energy it gives me, to lose even more. And that's the reward that you wanna see. You wanna see results. You wanna break your goals into very small uh, milestones, and each milestone is actually a reward that just gives you more energy to do even more, in the next
Absolutely.
coming time. Yeah.
From startuper to cancer fighter, walk me through this. You find out you got cancer. What kind of cancer you got? Tell me a little bit about that.
That was a Hodgkin.
Oh, Hodgkin's lymphoma. Is that what it is?
Yes, yeah, Hodgkin lymphoma. And it was, well, my wife is a doctor, and she kind of, well, that cured me. I wish she did, but she did somehow, in her own way. But fortunately for me, I was able to detect that in a quite early stage, stage two, and it was in summer, August 2015, and we were actually prepared, to go. I just learned that she was pregnant with our first daughter.
Oh wow.
Like, yeah, yeah, it was exactly like a week later. So you find out that you have a daughter, and a week later you find out that you have cancer. Uh, that was very cool story. But yes, eventually I needed to get, they were calling it treatment, but actually it was chemotherapy. So it was 6 months, 6 months of chemo plus 1 month of radiotherapy. Uh, I had like a tumor that big, so that big when for people, in listening to the podcast, just to get it was kind of watermelon, the big watermelon, and it was
Crazy things.
inside my chest. Uh, and actually, this thing is still inside, but it's very tiny. I just have something what's left from it. So the tumor kind of vanished or just become very small, during the treatment. Now I'm in total remission after five years now. Yeah.
Were you afraid you were gonna die?
Uh no, no, definitely not. That didn't really cross my mind, to be frank. Uh, as I said, my wife did definitely help me, with fighting the cancer. But when we say fighting the cancer, it's not like you're fighting it. It's like just receiving treatment, and hopefully everything works out fine. It did for me. Uh, I was never afraid to die because uh you know m- it was pretty much my way of living just before even getting that cancer. I know that eventually we'll die. Everyone will die. I mean, if you are a loser, you will die. If you are the best one, number one, you will die also, you see. So everyone will die eventually. We don't know when, we don't know how. uh, and I was pretty much living my life the way I wanted it. I wanted to do it, from day one. This is how I really wanted to do things, and I just do it. And when the illness, came up, so I was like, it's uh, just another problem that needs to be fixed. So I know that I just needed to well, get my treatment, try to live out of it, because it was definitely painful. That's a fact. Uh, but I know that it will be done eventually, and I just needed to get through it. And fortunately for me, I was able to I'll get back
Yeah,
on my
yeah, absolutely. What happens after you die?
come again.
What happens when after you die?
What happens
You die.
when I die?
Yeah,
Well,
like
I would
what?
just
Do you go to a
I
next level? Do you go to heaven? Do you? I mean,
ah
and I'm just curious what your thought process is. I was having a conversation earlier today with a young lady. She has a great podcast, and I was on her show, and we were just talking about just the open mindedness about everybody's different beliefs and no right or wrong. I mean, I say there's no right or wrong answer, but a lot of people say, well, I have this. This is the answer. This is what happens after you die. But again, not trying to be a jerk about anything, but no one's ever came back to tell me this is exactly how it goes. So I think, and a lot of it
definitely.
boils down to faith and what you believe. And I was just curious more than anything, like, what do you think happens after you die?
Seriously, I haven't really got so much thought about it. It has, well, it depends. Some think it has to do something with the religion and stuff. Some others would just say, well, it would be a long sleep that we might, wake up from one day. Uh, but I think dying would be a relief somehow. I don't want to die, all right? But if this comes up eventually, it means that you can rest now. You see, I have so much weight on my shoulder, so I know that it can only be a relief. So uh, it will come. I will probably meet someday, in the afterlife, and I will tell you how my dying went. But hopefully not very soon. But
I hope not either, my
if
friend. Yeah, don't go
yeah,
anywhere.
yeah, definitely.
What country do you live in?
Morocco.
Morocco. How's Morocco now?
Morocco.
What's Morocco? What's a normal day like? I've never, I don't know anybody in Morocco. You're the only person I've ever met from Morocco. And we're dumb Americans here in the United States. We don't know anything about anything. So I was just
Uh,
curious, like, what's a day like for you in Morocco?
well, there's tagines, lots of food. So food is part of the Moroccan culture. Uh, well, there is hashish as well. Uh, that would be weed.
Absolutely.
I'm not a smoker myself. I've never smoked, so I can't really go into details. But I live in Marrakesh, which is a very very hot city. Today it was something like 45 degrees Celsius. That's hot. Uh, and it does go up until 50, 52, sometimes 55 degrees. So it gets hot. Uh, that, Life here is pretty cool. I mean, I used to live in France. I've traveled the world. I've been to more than 30 countries. I know a part of the world. There are lots of stuff to see again. I've been to the US multiple times. But Morocco is it has that authentic that authentic thing, uh, uh, it's still, from the entrepreneurial way. There are lots of things to do, and that's what's good about Morocco. You see, there are tons of things that you can do, tons of projects you can work on, for everyone, not just for me, but for everyone who wants to invest in an idea, in a startup, in any business. uh, there are lots of things to do here.
When you, I want to get back to the business part of it. You've obviously started multiple businesses and you've been extremely successful, traveled around the world. What would be one thing that you would that was a mistake for that you see for a lot of entrepreneurs that do, and what is one opportunity that they can maybe maybe one piece of advice that you can give someone that's going to start a brand new startup, like, hey, I want to start this business, what do I not do and what should I do to start this company?
Well, I think the most important thing about starting a business is finding the right customers, finding people that are willing to pay for whatever you are selling. And that's the main thing about the business. I mean, if I don't know, if you can build something and people are really, I mean, I'm in a restaurant business as well. I do have a restaurant, and it, it started with sushi delivery service, and then it evolved to something much bigger. uh, and I was able, to make some food that people are ready to pay and spend money, to eat. So that's pretty much it. When you see, you have a podcast, you have you invite people, people are willing to, let's say, buy whatever services you are offering, whatever advertisement you are offering, then you are in a business. So it means that you can live, buy this thing. So whenever you find whenever you are good at something, that's the thing. Whenever you are good at something, uh and there are people out there that are ready to pay money for that thing, so then do it. Then there is definitely something. It does start with that. I had my first client when I was 15. He paid $5 for the services I was delivering. uh, that was 20 years ago. uh, Today, I have more than 30,000 clients in that same business that are paying a bit more than $5. And this is how it started. You see, uh, now the most important advice I would like to give is people who I don't make the company that I work for. The people who work in the company who are the ones that make the company. So you need to invest as well in these people, because you cannot make a business just by yourself. I mean, you only know too little about something, and you need to get people around, who are uh, a bit better than you, not a lot, a bit better than you in various fields, that are willing, to offer something that you don't offer, and you don't have, to flourish the business and to make it bigger. And for any business, you need to make it as big as you can. Not just in uh, any business needs to get bigger, else at some point it will eventually just close down, because uh, there will be competition, and there will be other companies that will just eat you alive. So you need to get bigger.
It's interesting you say that, and one of the big things I want to take away from that is obviously you said invest in the people, and the people. It's just so refreshing to hear, because no matter where you are around the world, no matter what company you have, no matter what business it is or service field you're in, whatever it is, if you don't invest in the people, you don't have the right people around you, you will not be successful. And obviously, with you starting so many companies, it's the same. It's like a broken record. It's the same thing over and over. Invest in your people. Get good people. And the other thing you said, which was really enlightening and makes so much sense, is get people that are smarter than you. You know, get people that know more than you. And it's so powerful to check that ego at the door. You know, I don't know everything. I need help figuring these things out. And when you bring smarter people in, it just raises the water level, right? Everybody gets stronger together, and the company gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, Hamza, one of my favorite books of all time I read is John Maxwell's book, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. We're going to go over those questions today, my friend, and I can't wait to hear your answers. Number one is, what is the greatest lesson you have ever learned?
There is no such thing as failure. You know, you don't fail. You just learn, and you just know how to win eventually.
Well, isn't that interesting that we have that word? And that'll be a question here in just a couple seconds. But that word failure, it's like like you said, it doesn't exist, yet we have an actual word that defines what this quote unquote action is. And I'm with you. Hey, if the only time it's a failure is if I don't learn from anything. But it's just bizarre because I agree with you 1,000,000%. It's what I think is one of the biggest failures, and we're going to talk about this in just a second, anyways. But it's a failure to take action, and I think that is probably one of the biggest failures you can do. And you talked about earlier, just getting things done, just do it, just get it out of the way. And when you don't do that, I believe that is a failure because you're not walking into your potential of what is actually right in front of you. And if you never do that, you will never step into your greatness. You'll never see the opportunities that are right there. But you got to take action. So I'm glad you said that. But
Well,
we're gonna bring that back here in just a second, anyways. But
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and it is that. I mean, okay, failure would be being dead. You see, game over. But when you're still alive, then you can still do it, and you can
yeah.
still make it happen and make it work.
Question number two is, what are you learning now?
Like right now,
Yeah, yeah, in
well,
general.
I'm again, I'm just bought a land and being a starting to be agriculture, so I'm trying to learn everything I need to know, you know, to grow my olive trees in 2 days. So
Holy smokes.
yeah, that's so I got like a little bit smaller than 5 acres. That's quite a big land, you know, to start with, and it's completely fresh. I mean, completely empty. So I had to do everything, you know, make the yeah, it's fun. I mean, uh, I think at my what I'm doing right now is, you know, kind of enjoying life. You see, I'm done, you know, with all the. It's not just I'm done with the business, no, but I'm actually looking for everything that makes me happy, and you know, just you know, be good
Yeah.
as I am. You see,
I mean, how cool is that? Like, it's, from a guy like you that's done so many things, yet here you are with 5 acres of land, and I'm going to put olive trees on it. And that's what my passion is now. And I think that's beautiful. It's
yeah,
absolutely beautiful to be able to do that and slow everything down and take time for yourself and be happy. And I think that's a good lesson for everybody out there too, is, don't work yourself to the bone. I mean, we're like we've talked about this. We're on this planet for so long, and if you spend your time just working, 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 you pass by all the beautiful things and the beautiful opportunities that are right in front of you. Question number three, we've talked about it. It could be a brief answer, but number three is, how has failure shaped your life?
uh again, there hasn't been any failure to be frank, but yeah, okay, let's focus on that for a minute. uh you know, I've failed my we call that baccalaureate. That's like the year you graduate from college. All right, so I failed that year, and I did eventually graduate the next year. You see, so you know, if I hadn't failed that year, my life would be completely different.
Mm.
Uh, and that actually, I came, I was 17. I was in a point where my business was somehow blocked because I needed to pay my providers outside the country, and in Morocco we cannot send money outside the country as an individual. And I hadn't started my uh, company back then. I was just working as a freelancer. And in order for me to be able to continue my business, I needed to have an international credit card. And the way I was able to do it is to go to France to study abroad. The thing is, the year I failed, I didn't have a subscription in France where I could go to study and eventually get my international bank account and international credit card. So I only did it the next year when I redid my year, and I was able to get a subscription meanwhile. So it means that when I was able to graduate, I went directly to France, and I was able to open my bank account and do my business the way I wanted to. And this thing, this setback, allowed me uh, to have a different path. Else, I would have stayed in Morocco because, and if I had stayed in Morocco, I wouldn't be able to perform my business the way I wanted to. So it was kind of a blocking point for me. So again, if I hadn't failed, and
Yeah.
I put that under brackets, uh, uh, I wouldn't have, eventually succeeded. You see, so every failure would just, uh, prepare the path for you, and God has His own way, of, you know, just making it work for you eventually. uh, Even in the worst situations, something just happens, and you see, there's like uh, a secret path that is designed just for you, in a very uh, very in a very terrible place. So again, there's no such thing as failure.
Well, it's interesting because I think you said that all right, exactly right. Because sometimes the failures that actually happen, or quote unquote failures that happen to us, we don't know the actual other side of the
Yeah.
coin. It could be a year from now, it could be 2 years from now, and we don't know where that actually sets our course to an actual destination. And that's so brilliant that you said that, because everybody out there listening to this podcast, no matter where you are around the world, we all have failures, right? We all struggle, like, man, why did this happen to me? We don't have to have that answer of why did this happen to me right now, because the answer to why did this happen to me could be an answer that, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. And then you're like, oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
now I know why that happened to me. Now I know why this path that I'm on is, and now I know why I'm so successful because of what my failure was 6 years ago. You just never know how these things pull
Yeah.
together, but you got to go through them to make the opportunities happen. Question
Exactly.
number 4 is, who do you know that I should know?
Hmm. Well, I think we both know him.
Well,
Ah. Well, you're in the US. I'm in Morocco. So if we both know someone, it must be someone who's pretty much, famous, famous people, famous guy, famous entrepreneur. Uh, I don't know. I'm thinking Steve Jobs or something like that.
well, do you know him?
Well, by name.
Well, who do you know personally that I should know?
Well, that would be that would be the race, my CTO.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll, so he's actually the real genius behind Genius. Genius is the name of my company,
Hmm.
and we've been together for 20 years now. Uh, we've and he's actually the one who's the gig very geeky guy. So he must be playing Call of Duty right now. I was in Discord before I joined Zoom, and he was there, just playing. Well, he's a marvelous guy, and he's really, really, really good at what he's doing. And he he doesn't have any college education or whatever, so he did stop just in so he did graduate from the baccalaureate I was telling you about, so
Hmm.
the college, and that's it. He stopped there, and uh so he's an autodidact, just pretty much like me, uh and he's been doing that. He actually takes vacations, to learn new stuff. How
That's
cool is
cool.
that? How cool is that? It is amazing. And uh, I just love that thing about him. He keeps investing in himself, and he keeps learning new stuff,
Yeah.
and he does that every day. And whenever there is something new, he needs to know about it. And that's fascinates me, because most of people who I work with, not a lot of them, pretty much all of them, except some very few, who would just say, I don't know.
Yeah.
This thing doesn't exist for him. And yeah, we'll
Well, it's a
probably,
great
if
life
you're,
lesson too. If you don't know how to figure it out, go figure it out, right? I mean, again, we go back to this whole theme of this podcast is just kind of taking action. Your buddy's just not the guy that's going to sit there and say, "Hey, well, you go figure it out." He's going to go figure it out, and he's going to do whatever it takes. And I think that's what sometimes it takes to go for those goals and dreams. You just got to do whatever it takes, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to step up and make things happen. So, yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. Question number 5 is, what have you done that I should do?
uh it's pro- it's forbidden, but yeah, you should give it a try.
What?
um, some LSD from time to time.
Well, I don't know if it's forbidden, and I think the market is opening quite a bit on that. I had Jonathan DePotter on the show, and you should try to connect with that dude. He's awesome. He is in the CEO of Behold Retreats around the world, and they have um, retreats that you can go to, and you can actually sit with professionals that will give you the right amount, the right dose based on body weight, experience level,
Wow.
whatever you want to get into. And he's all over the world, which is fascinating. It's ayahuasca as well as psilocybin. He gets into that and tells us about the benefits of that, and I think it does. Yeah, I think slowly but surely, as the world becomes a little bit more open minded towards psychedelics, I think and all the benefits of them. It's something I've really thought about doing. I told Jonathan I'm going to come out and see him at sometime this year. It's where we're coming halfway through the year, and I got to make a decision whether I'm going to do that or not. But I think about it every day, and I'm glad you said that because
You,
that's
you should.
something that needs to be
You
talked
should.
about.
So I actually do that. The first time I did it, it was in Burning Man
Mm,
8 years ago, 2013. And I, since then I have done that like 5 to 6 times. So it's once a year, once each 2 years. And sometimes just need to press that hard reset button,
yeah,
and stop everything and forget about everything, and kind of enjoy the moment. And I think that, as you said, not sure if that's really illegal, but uh, people should do it from time to time. I mean, uh, in like in a very, very safe way. I mean, I'm not telling you to go drive while you're
yeah,
uh, you're on drugs. No, definitely not. But uh, people, it will definitely allow people, to learn more things about them, and actually enjoy life. That's very important. Enjoy life and enjoy the moment, and that's it.
I
So you
appreciate you
should give
sharing
it a
that.
try.
Yeah, I think you're like the fourth or fifth person that's told me I've got to do it. So I think it's getting to the point that I
Again,
just got to do
once a
it.
year, once a year, once a year. It's it
Yeah.
is cool, and
What
it
did you
is
see? Did you see like green little green men jumping on the walls? Did you see the trees moving, the floors changing colors? Like what did you see, and what was your experience like?
it depends. It depends. I mean, it depends on the set. It depends on the environment. So I've done that, every time I'm away from Morocco. So in the US, in Canada, Italy, uh, you know, and every time it's different. So every time you see something different, and every time uh, it's a whole experience. I mean, eventually from 8 to 12 hours. So you have like a midday full of new feeling and enhanced experience, if I can call it that.
You can call it whatever you want, my friend. I think it's fascinating. I think it's awesome. So that is something that for sure I'm going to dig into. Question number 6 is, what have you read that I should read?
Ah, well, I'm not a reader myself. I mean, I must have read like 3, 4 books in my whole freaking life.
Well,
Uh, yeah.
that's
So I,
awesome.
I did read the autobiography of Steve Jobs. I did read the autobiography of Phil Knight,
Mm,
True Dog, amazing book.
yeah.
And actually, I did read it because I had it for like 3 years. And when I was writing my own book, uh, I had to read it. I had to read. I did actually read Steve Jobs, and then I did read True Dog just before that. So I needed to get in the mood, what needs to be shared, how I should be telling my story.
Yeah.
So I did. That did help a lot. And yes, and then yeah, maybe some Quran as well.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
can help as well. It's another LSD experience,
Well, hey,
different.
I mean, I've listened to a little bit of the Quran. I've listened to a little bit of a lot of different things, a lot of different religious aspects, and I think there's so many lessons to be learned to be good people. And at the end of the day, I think that's what the biggest lesson I've learned is just you treat everybody with the utmost respect and be as kind as you possibly
Definitely,
can, and that's you get those lessons from any book you read, whether it's the Quran, whether it's the Bible, whether you name it. I
definitely.
get lessons from all those different places. Final question, my friend, is Hamza. How can I add value to you?
How you can add value to me?
Yep. What can I do for you to help you become? I don't know, just whatever. What can I do for you to help?
Well, spread the good vibes,
Well, I can do that.
and do whatever please you, and just be a good person.
Well, I
If
can do that.
everyone is being a good person, we'll be definitely living a much better place.
But dude, that is such the truth too, man. I mean, just
Yeah,
be the best version of yourself you can be, and allow everything to fall into
definitely,
place. Uh,
definitely,
Hamza, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, my friend. And one of these days, I hope our paths cross in real life, whether you come to the United States or I come to Morocco. If I come to Morocco, I'm going to get off the plane and come right to your house because I don't know where the hell else I'm going. But if you ever come to
welcome.
Indiana in the middle of the
Yeah,
U.S., you stop out and see me. My friend will have a night on the town. We'll have a good time. I promise you that. But
we'll do
tell the
that.
world where they can, if they want to connect with you and just find out how to start businesses and read your book, where do they find you on all social media platforms?
Well, my website would be aboulfath.com. So ABOULFETH.com. And from there, you can have access to all my social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. And that's all where I am right now. And the book, yeah, the book would be from startupper to cancer fighter, and you can get that on Amazon.
Yeah, I would definitely run over there and do me a favor too. When you get that book, make sure you leave him a review there as well. It just allows other people to find the book. That's a super important. If you have any questions, obviously you can reach out to Hamza and reach out to me as well. I'm always at Jeremy at jeremytodd.com. I appreciate you listening. Leave those reviews for him, leave them for me. And again, and when we talk about spreading that word of positivity, the best way to spread it is by leaving those reviews because for whatever reason, with the algorithms for all these different social media platforms, it allows other people to find the shows. I appreciate you tuning in. I say it at every single show. You've got greatness within. Like always, this is the positive side.